Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the No Laying Up live show. I hope all the tech works. As always, my name is DJ Pie, joined, as always, by all my compatriots. Solly, how are you?
I am wonderful, ready to chat some PGA Championship.
Big Randolph out in Denver, how are you?
I am great. It's good. I want to say you guys are my full-time hitters.
Thank you. Full-time hitters only. And joined live from an undisclosed location in the greater Charleston area, codename Cody, who was on site at Kiawah today. Cody, how are you?
Great. Happy to be here and ready to talk a little day one action.
Well, let's do that. Solly, where do you want to start? You're driving the ship here.
Well, first I just want to ask Cody, how did Scott Stallings do today? Did he have a
Listen, folks. I appreciate it. I still think he's vibing next week for,
Love him.
Never count him out.
No.
Never
we're gonna go Colonial. He's gonna win. He's gonna win at Congaree. We're totally fine, guys. It's gonna be okay.
I had to welcome you to the live show in that way. Before we get rolling, I want to give a shout out to our friends at Wine Access. You guys can go to wineaccess.com/NLU. They give users 15% off their first 3 purchases. We got a bunch of our favorites on there. This, again, is a TC special. Wine Access makes it easy for people to discover and enjoy the world's best wine through curation, content, perfect provenance, satisfaction guarantee. Every bottle has a story, and they include some tasting notes to it, how to enjoy it, etc. Even if you don't know wine and people don't know, you want, if you're having, red meat, you want red wine. If you're having fish, you want white wine. They include all that kind of information. Zip by sip, temperature controlled shipping ensures pristine condition of every bottle, and they'll credit you for any bottle that fails to impress you. And we got the NLU Wine of the Month. This was chosen by TC himself. Is OPP Pinot Noir from Oregon. This is Randy in a nutshell.
Other people's Pinot.
Other people's Pinot. Red fruits, earthy, spicy, woodsy. And it's an accessible Pinot that's a service industry favorite. There's only 4 sets remaining of the California trio we put together. They're also launching a subscription with Wine Folly. So again, go to wineaccess.com/subscriptions where you can choose from Michelin, Wine Folly, or their standard club options. Again, wineaccess.com/NLU. Give users 15% off. All right, let's go around the table here. Let's start with Cody, who was on site here. What's the story of the day for you? What's the first thing that comes to mind that you'd want to talk about?
Well, for me, I think it's Will Zalatoris. So lucky enough to see him hole out for that eagle on 6. Absolutely flushing it. Missed a couple, tee shots here and there, but overall a really good day. And I think he's going to get a little bit crowned by having a late early start. And that's kind of going to be the motto going forward. But that's where I'd start at. Big
Randy.
I want Mr. Cody to be very, very, very judicious in throwing around the term flushing. It's a high bar to clear. So don't just throw that around willy-nilly, okay? I'd say for me, the first thing, my first story was just the course and the conditions. I think it was spicier than I was anticipating. The wind was fresh for most of the day. And honestly, I tweeted some of the stuff later in the day. I turned on the Mickelson only feed on ESPN Plus. His back nine was just resplendent. It made me feel like a young man again, turning back the clock. Back 932 was just a lot of fun. It's just a lot of fun for me when he plays well.
Where would you put that on the sustainability charts? The Phil Mickelson last
absolutely zero. Short shelf life. I have no confidence that'll back it up. It'd be great if he did, but if the over under was like 74.5 tomorrow, I would probably take the over with my smart money, but hope to be wrong.
Pumping carbon into the air. DJ, what's your big takeaway from today?
Randy kind of mentioned it up front before veering into Mickelson land, but the course for me, I had an absolutely just thrilling time watching the golf today. It was a rejuvenating round of golf on TV, especially kind of early afternoon as that first wave was finishing, second wave was taking off. It was really, really fun to watch how the guys navigated the wind, fun to watch guys hit it in absolute shit spots. Dustin Johnson, before he got dropped from coverage, honestly, like, I don't want to spike the football on the world number one, but it was a thrill to watch him make the golf course look as hard as it is. You know what I mean? It was just fun to watch him on those first 4 holes, just hit it in horrible spots. And that was kind of the story of the day for me, was the golf course. We didn't really know how it was going to look, and now we know. you don't know, now you know.
I would say out of how many guys? There are 156 guys. 155 of them made it look pretty hard, and the only one that didn't was Corey Connors. Even the guys that shot 3 under and stuff were at some point in what we would like to call ass spots. And Corey Connors was just in command. He was never out of position really the whole day.
It's interesting that none of us said the story of the day was Spieth shooting 1 over in a tie for 45th.
Well, that's what I'm just about to get to. I mean, the story of the lip outs for Jordan Spieth were just off the charts. I mean, I know that's what everyone's been dying to talk about, but I believe. Do you want to apologize for the Corey Connors takes you had in the previous?
Are you talking to me or Cody?
To DJ.
Oh, okay. No, I don't want to apologize, and I don't want to treat the situation, flippantly. It is a very powerful storm that is developing out in the Atlantic Ocean. Saul, I know your models were pointing to a lot of different directions it could go. You thought it was going to veer unexpectedly. None of the other models had this. A cross face, whip across the Atlantic, just decimate the Isle of Wight. I'm not ready to evacuate those folks quite yet. The storm is developing, but I think there's a lot of golf to play out. He's holding stuff from the fringe. He didn't miss a fucking golf shot all day. And yeah, maybe that'll continue for 72 holes. And he's also going to putt his eyes out like he did today, maybe. But I think we're going to see a much more traditional storm. I would warn the folks on the US East Coast, your Wilmingtons, your Outer Banks, like those regions that are typically hit pretty hard. I would expect a normal storm coming your guys' way.
Start preparing.
If you didn't listen to the preview,
I was going to say.
Sorry. None of that's going to make sense, but what are you going to do?
I was in the preview and I don't even remember where this bit. Or
it's a big
We're talking about your models. It was a wide cone. Exactly.
Yeah.
No, I will say
Alabama.
I'm not willing to apologize, but I will absolute doff of the cap to Corey Connors. He did not miss a golf shot, and it was really, really fun to watch. I kind of expected him to get eviscerated by the wind, especially on those back 9 holes. I think maybe we got a little taste seeing him tank the head cover off coming into 18 there, but he it just laser straight iron shots. It was really fun to watch.
I think sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, he hits the shit out of the ball. We know that, but he rolled it today.
Yeah.
I mean, I think he may have led the field in strokes gained putting. That is kind of in the Mickelson
that's rare
model. Yeah.
Yes.
We're not counting on that lasting, through 4 days, but is he going to top 20, which is what I had him for? Yeah, I think he will be. I think that's probably a pretty good bet right now, but he's the favorite right now. Is that weird? Is that not surprising?
Well, I mean, no, he's got a 2-shot lead, and he didn't miss a shot. And there's not really many Clydesdales around him up there, other than I guess Brooks. Other than Brooks.
Victor Keegan's a major winner?
He won a major a decade ago. Let's put the leaderboard up, should we?
There we go.
All right.
The reigning PGA champ is right there.
Well, admittedly, Randy, I didn't really look that far down the leaderboard when I said that. We're kind of shooting from the hip here.
Well, I think what my associate was saying with all of that, if I can, DJ, I think I would sum it up.
True love is blind.
Well, you certainly cannot win the tournament on Thursday.
Thank you, God.
But I think you can lose it.
Who lost it then?
There were a lot of guys that lost it.
Yeah, Sam Burns for sure lost it. Many other guys.
I think we expected DB to be straight vibing. That was not the case. Daniel Berger, very trendy pick, opening 79. I would say he lost it probably.
Yeah, that's safe to say. If you want to play the how far back is too far back game, we can save that for later.
We can get into that right now. We can go from the bottom up. Everyone else is doing top down from the leaderboard. Why don't we go bottom up? How far back is too far back? Are Rory and JT out of it at 75?
I don't think so.
No. And that might be my cutoff right there. I don't think everybody at +3 is in it, of course, but I think those guys can hang a number tomorrow. Get back around on the weekend. I'd say +3. I'd say anything +4 or worse today. I'm saying they're done. They can't win it.
+3 is the number that we're talking about right here. All right, so Cody, you were there in person. You kind of touched on. I'm guessing the best shot you saw. I hope it's the Zalatoris hole out because that was pretty much the best shot I think any of us saw all day. What was the worst shot you saw today?
Probably Sam Burns on 5. So flailed it right into that bunker and flubbed 2 sand shots. Ended up making a 6 triple on that hole. And you could tell he's kind of grimacing a little bit, but I guess he didn't realize that his back was in that bad of shape. He tried to strap it in and make it to 9, which he did, and then a prompt WD. But he looked like he was struggling all day, right out of the gates, and sucks for him because obviously coming off some really good play.
Count me out on. I just searched on Twitter for Sam Burns, like trying to figure out why he withdrew. Oh my god, it stumbled into DFS Twitter. Like, oh my god, he's in my lineup. Fuck this guy. Oh my god, what are you doing withdrawal? And I was like, oh whoa, I have partitioned off that part of Twitter for very long, and I accidentally fell into it and was like, get me the hell out of here. Oh my god.
I did want to give some thoughts and prayers to, obviously I hope Sam Burns is back, gets better, and one of the world's best young players gets back on the course. But I do want to give thoughts and prayers to anybody who had him in their lineups this week, because I know he was a highly populated player.
And if you had him, make sure to send a message to
tweet
Sam
at him.
Yeah.
See if you can find his phone number, text him. I think he'd love to hear from those guys tonight.
And a really good vibe, too, is just calling into question the severity of the injury that you can't feel. That's what I really enjoy because, I'm sure that Sam Burns, coming off as this hot a play, just decided to quit it after 9 holes. Just decided, I don't want to do this anymore. I'm going to quit and walk off from my profession after preparing for this. But, I'm sure I think that's probably what he was after. So, keep that vibe up. It's fun.
Cody, give me some insights from the golf course today. First of all, what's your background at Kiawah? Have you been there before? Was this your first time? How long you been there? What's the takeaways? Just download a little bit.
Yeah, so I've been here for 2 days. Got in yesterday afternoon, went out to the course right away, and then was out there early this morning. This is probably my 4th or 5th time out here. All the other times I played, so I love Kiawah. The ocean course kicks my butt every time I try to play it. And it's cool to see, pros out there actually, getting their teeth kicked in a little bit. No offense to them, but some crazy things happen that not just the wind and the wind swirling, but some over-aggressive volunteers, I would say. Maybe that's due to...
Tell me all about this.
Tell me, I want to hear about this.
Maybe that's due to limited spectators that are out there, and it didn't feel crowded by any means. So 10,000 people, I think they're letting in this week, but there was not that many people out there. But volunteers absolutely getting in asses everywhere, and it started out this morning with some overbearing rope bearers, and then the funniest thing is when the afternoon wave started going to warm up. I walked over to go watch Max and Bones warm up. And Katumi Kanaya, so primarily plays on the Japanese tour, kind of walked right through where everybody else was standing and did not take the players' route to get out to the driving range. 3 volunteers immediately jumped on him because he had some wrinkled pair of Dockers on and just kind of a faded polo shirt. And they're asking him for badges for, he doesn't speak very good English, so badges he didn't get. He's literally signaling for agents and somebody to come help him. But they finally got the situation under control, and then he's over there.
Threat was neutralized?
Yeah, warming up with everybody else. I was like, wow, intense.
Did you ask how much they had paid to volunteer this week?
That's on my list to get tomorrow, just for you, Dave.
Just an alley-oop. Just teed him up perfectly. Can we talk a little bit about Kiawah? I felt like they did the hype coming into this week was about as good of a buildup in terms of a mystery. Just I watched live from several times through last night just to get every piece of information I could on the golf course, talking about the wind. The coverage of the golf course was just incredible. I mean, the way I felt like I was there. Sitting here watching it for 6 hours on ESPN Plus, I felt like I had sand up my ass like that just from the visuals. I felt like I was walking Kiawah just from taking it in because of how present everything really felt. And I don't know, I don't remember golf coverage really taking me to a site like that. Cody, I don't know if you have sand in your ass as well, but the golf course is really, really tough, really challenging. Yet I'm kind of struggling with the leaderboard it's given us right now. And where I'm at with it is it seems like in spots that there are shots that there's not a great option to pull off a spectacular shot, or it's extremely unlikely, almost too unlikely. Whereas, I'm thinking of 11 in general. I mean, it's playing dead downwind, but the way these greens sit, the way they're perched, if you land on top of that with a second shot, it's probably not holding. And if you land short, you can't bound up on. And I feel like the praise for this golf course has been pretty universal. And while I think it's solid to good, like I miss like I know it's not realistic to expect a British Open out of a PGA, but a shot that where you at least have the option to bound in front of and onto these greens, I feel like would make for a way more entertaining golf tournament where, you have more opportunity for spectacular shots. And that's just, it just seems like it's really set up to protect par. And I don't know how fun that's going to be for 4 days. I hope I don't know if that goes too far in the negative camp, but I'm curious your guys' feedback on that.
I think that's totally fair. Randy, go ahead.
No, I mean, I don't have a ton to add, so I'll just say, so I think those are good points. I think I would love to see the course play like that. The one thing I noticed earlier today, just starting to watch, and as Kiawah came back to me, like, God, I do not remember many holes out there just on my own. So it was nice to really watch and have my memory jog. Just the length of the rough seems, it just feels unnatural. And that's a lot for me to say, because usually I'm all about the rough, I'm all about the carnage. But I think just being so close to the ocean, it just doesn't sit right. There's something a bit off, and I think maybe that's what you're hinting at a little bit too. So I would mostly agree with your take. I also think I'm not as down the leaderboard though as maybe you guys are. I think it has a chance to be very interesting here over the next couple of days.
I agree it has a chance to be interesting. I'm not saying it's not going to be interesting. I just think that, we're super bunched, and that's where I'm at with like, Corey Connors has 2-shot lead, but gosh, the total number of guys that are, there's 15 guys at -2 or better, and then you go super deep at -1 or better as well. And I just wonder if it's like this. It's like birdie or par on some holes, and it's par or bogey, right? Those lines between birdie and bogey aren't that close. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
Totally.
Yeah. So, Cody, did you get any sense of that? Like, if you're out there seeing these golf shots, right, seeing them being played, we're trying to take it in on TV. Are you seeing like tremendous opportunities on a lot of these shots, or do you kind of pick up what I'm getting at?
Yeah, I think the downhole, everything that's downwind. So as soon as you make the turn from 4 to 5, it's kind of the go zone all the way until you turn back into it on 14. And you saw people taking advantage of that, specifically on 11. The issue is once you get downwind on those holes, the majority of the par fours, I mean, if you're trying to land, the ball a little bit short to a pin that's 4 paces on, you land it short and it hits the fringe, it's not going to bounce up. You're not going to roll up on the green at all. And I think that's where you're kind of getting at there, Solly. And the other side of it is there's rough that in places where there shouldn't be rough. So it's kind of protecting balls from rolling into bunkers or waste areas. And I think you could see, more of the rough taken out of there just to get the ball more on the ground and kind of running, because, specifically into the wind, 1 through 4, they're flying it, right at pins, and they're sticking and, pretty reasonable putts, because the greens are rolling really, really good. I saw a ton of made putts today, a lot more than I kind of expected 1 through 4. But we'll see what it's like tomorrow. I mean, today the wind was primarily like 10 miles an hour out of the north almost all day. Tomorrow it's going to get up to 15 miles an hour more out of the east. So a little bit of a switch there. So more crosswinds to deal with, both coming up and going back. We'll see.
Only thing I'd add, Solly, on that, I mean, I thought it was a cool variety, meaning that the par fives, a lot of what you're talking about, I think with, hard to get close is talking on your second shot, I think, like in which shouldn't be really a guarantee, I don't think, to try to hit, these par fives and 2. I think they're still very, very gettable. You saw a lot of the birdies on the par fives, but I think that there was a ton of, especially like I'm thinking of a hole like 10, that pin was almost impossible to get close to, which I thought was kind of cool from the perspective of, there were gettable holes elsewhere. And I'm thinking specifically of Corey Connors' shot where, he's trying to hit the perfect golf shot and he lands it, right at the flag. No coincidence there. Right at the flag, but it's downwind. He lands it on a downslope and it scoots all the way through to the back bunker. And hearing him on the telecast, like, oh my gosh, what an unlucky break that is. It's like, well, no, that you're not allowed to do that on that hole, man. You can't just hit it at the flag on all these, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, and where I'm at with that is like, all right, that's fine. But if so for that 10th hole, if the fairway was super wide and there was like a hazard down the right side that if you played close to it, you could create an angle for that shot,
Yeah.
that would be super interesting. Whereas with narrow fairways, with this rough that Randy's talking about, you got to kind of hit it right here. There's not a lot of creativity off the tee right now. It's hit it in between, these somewhat narrow fairways right now, and then you're kind of trying a shot that's pretty impossible. Like there's no way to really get it that close there on 10. And that's kind of where I'm at with like the praise was very universal for it. And I think it's mostly good. I'm intrigued by this golf course, but I just don't, it's not a 10 out of 10. And that's probably nitpicking, I know, but that's just, it didn't create the most exciting style of golf today, I don't think.
We talked about this last Sunday, the changes that they made to the course and trying to put the teeth back into it, back to 91 days, and as opposed to 2012. And I think when they tightened up some of these fairways, they went a little bit too far.
So, anyways, before we get going here too far, one major, huge storyline this week, unbelievable, dominated the broadcast. Rangefinders, a lot of talk about rangefinders this week. I don't know.
Where is he going with this?
I don't know if I saw any actually on TV.
No, I saw Spieth with one.
Okay. Well, the biggest news of all of this rangefinder news, Precision Pro Golf is proud to announce the launch of the smartest, most personalized rangefinder ever, the R1 Smart Rangefinder. It's available for limited pre-order at precisionprogolf.com. It's totally reinventing the rangefinder. It's combining the functions of laser, GPS, and cell phone all into one device. So at its core, the R1 Smart Rangefinder is a premier rangefinder. Once you pair it to the powerful Precision Pro app on your phone, the R1 helps golfers see the course in a completely new way. So get a load of all these features, guys. Get a load. Slope adjusted distances, GPS distance to the front, center, and back of the green, wind assist, which measures the effect of the wind the wind's going to have on each shot, and the Find My Precision Pro function, which alerts you when the rangefinder has been left behind. That's the greatest function ever for a rangefinder. You're never going to lose it again. But the most innovative feature on the R1 is Precision Pro's game-changing new MySlope technology. It creates customized measurements specific to you and your environment by combining a golfer's unique ball data with real-time weather data. So launch angle, ball speed, spin rate, all combined with the temperature, altitude, humidity, create a distance that's tailored for you and no one else, because if it's not personalized, it is not precise. So I've been hearing rumblings that it's the most technologically advanced rangefinder ever. We don't have it yet, so I can't speak to the personal experience yet. I can't wait to see it. R1 Smart Rangefinder, the rangefinder reinvented, available for limited pre-order at precisionprogolf.com. Order today because inventory is limited. Swing with confidence, hit more greens with Precision Pro Golf. He's probably watching right now, and we're 25 minutes in. We haven't talked about Brooks Koepka yet. That's probably an issue. How many times can we get away with this?
Where do we want to start? We want to start with his golf game, his injury. He kind of looked like Ken Caminetti a little bit out there.
Ooh, R.I.P. I think, let me start it out this way. Good to have him in the mix.
For sure.
I think he's a great guy to have back. Happy that he's there. What a terrible hat.
Tough hat. Yeah. How is he not in the? You shouldn't yuck anybody's yum here. Maybe he loves the hats, but how does Rory seems to get out of the ugly ass hats. The cat obviously gets out of the ugly hats. How does Brooks not have the clout to get out of those things? They're awful.
I think
never good hats.
He does it so we say mean things about it, and then he does and I took that personally, and goes out and shoots 69. And this is the first time Koepka's had a great first round of a major that I'm not kicking myself for not seeing it coming, because there was
right.
I know he's extremely tough in majors. His record is unbelievable, but we've not seen good health out of him. Kyle Porter said it best. He's bending down to read putts like Eddie Tobbins. He's setting up for a slider low and away, which, again, I don't know if he is on the sustainability model. I don't know if he's going to be able to last 4 rounds, battling knee injuries and whatever it is. He did sound way more confident going into this week than he did for the Masters. I kind of wrote it off a little bit just because, I just needed to see a lot more out of him coming into this. But dude, it really is. If he continues to have a great week, like, we got to start talking about this guy in a different way. Like, he needs to lead the major conversation every single time that there's a major championship and he's even remotely healthy.
100%. And it's also crazy, talk about sustainability and all, Corey Connors putting his eyes out and all that kind of stuff. I mean, coming into this week, it felt like most of the talking was about driving the golf ball, right? And you got to drive it well, you got to do this, you got to do that. And I mean, Brooks was what, 134th today in driving, strokes gained driving. So I got to think that's going to go the other direction. Probably that's probably not going to continue, which would scare the shit out of me, I guess, if I'm anybody on that leaderboard.
Sorry, I got alerted. Somebody's at the front door, but
do you want us to pause? We can.
That's
we
my
can wait.
pizza. That was my
okay.
Google. That was my Nest system there alerting me. So Tyler Serban 3 asked, how does a guy with 2 bad knees absolutely dominate Rory and JT? It's rhetorical, but if you want to comment, be my guest.
I don't know who wants to jump on this grenade.
Yeah, I mean, some of it's just golf is fickle. Some of it is Rory hasn't been good in majors in years and years and years. And JT leaves a little to be desired. So, that's my answer.
Can we talk about Rory?
Very scientific.
Yeah, I mean, were you guys expecting good things out of Rory this week?
I tell you, it was a complete coin flip. I know it's a cop out, but like I totally didn't know. Like 75 doesn't surprise me in the least, and 65 wouldn't surprise me in the least either. It was one of those. It kind of felt like the win. I think they said it on the broadcast either today or maybe it was on live from or what. But the Pete Cowan thing almost seemed like kind of placebo. Like he was talking about how we really haven't even made too many changes yet. We're just kind of getting into it, and it was almost like a tricking yourself into just finding what you needed to find to get it over the finish line at Quail Hollow. And so it still doesn't seem like it's there, obviously, but it wouldn't have surprised me if he went crazy low either. It's fucking disappointing, man. It's depressing. I hate seeing him do that, but we've seen him do it about 40 times in a row now. So
opening tee shot, dead downwind, 10th hole. It was a driver and a flip wedge, and he sprays it, and I mean, he took we can call it questionable drop. I mean, we don't know.
I'm amongst friends here.
That's the thing. When you have a course that's set up, holes that are framed like that with water and hazards, it's like it becomes this. It's amazing that at the highest level of the game, we're playing this game of like, hey, do you guys think it crossed here or 150 yards further back? Like, what do you think? I mean, while it was in the air, we have no depth perception on it, but where should I drop it? And the players like decide that stuff is still insane to me. But yeah, gosh, it doesn't it seem. I was trying to think about this earlier. Where would you guys have rather started? Would you rather start on 10, play 4 holes downwind, and then go like 9 holes into the wind and finish, kind of coming downwind, or would you rather go 4 out, like 8 to 9 holes downwind, and then finish with 5 into the wind? Cody, where would you rather have started? You were out there.
I'd probably say the front 9. I think whole setup wise, I mean, there's not really any difficulty until you're coming back downwind anyway. Whereas you starting, the back 9, 10, 11, 12, you're going to be okay. But once you're turning in, you're, getting your teeth punched in.
Yeah, Brooks was talking about that too. That he seemed to think that was dramatically easier starting on the front.
Yeah.
Especially, I would think in the afternoon tomorrow. Like the guys who start on the back in the afternoon tomorrow are going to have that's going to be the toughest end of the toughest part of the draw, right?
So get this. If you, after playing the first 4 holes, you will go, again, these are all into the wind, 206, 458, 606, 214, 474, all dead into the teeth. That includes 15, 17, and 18 were 3, 1, and 2 most difficult holes. So you play the 3 most difficult holes there in a 4-hole stretch. Then you flip over 401, 559, 381, and then 453, which they moved the 4th tee up today. All into the wind. Like that would be so grueling. Like it is so difficult to keep a round going when you're just like, you can't advance. So you're just trying not to retreat. And it kind of doesn't really matter because it flips, right? If you started on 1 today, you're starting on 10 tomorrow, and it does even out. But gosh, that's just something to watch. Somebody that really goes and tears through that 9-hole stretch into the wind is somebody that's going to gain a lot of shots on the field.
So to your point, Ollie, on, wanting some more accessible hole locations and things like that on some of those downwind holes, does that almost like make the disparity even bigger? Do you know what I mean? Where it makes the easy holes even easier and it makes the hard holes even harder. You know what I mean? And it might make it almost like too lopsided.
It wasn't even my comment wasn't even as much on the pin setup as it is just like the design of the golf course, right? The greens sit perched, right? There's just it's not accessible, which is a feature of the golf course. Like I'm not saying that, it's apples or it's, potato. It's not like it's right. It's not like it's wrong. It's just like, here's the challenge. We have perched up greens here. How can can we test your skill of hitting it high and be able to hold them and do all these different things? And no one can do it for 18 straight holes. And that's what's interesting is like, a big part of the test here is how you scramble and how you get up and down. And do you leave yourself in the right spots? Do you leave yourself green to work with? Because as we've seen, there are some ass spots. Like you can miss in the wrong spot. Almost no golfer, literally except for Corey Connors, do I recall not seeing just being in a spot that was like, oh, well, he's toast. Like he's Brooks, the very first hole, Rory isn't even done dropping yet. And Brooks is hitting a ball 5 yards in front of him out of the bunker on the 10th hole and making double out of it.
The sandy area.
Right.
People are
I mean, it's one course that's you're completely exposed everywhere you go. So not just perched up greens, but perched up fairways, perched up tees. You're above the dunes almost the entire time, so there's no place to hide from the wind.
Yeah, people were mad about sandy areas being overused. Like, come on. Like, what are they supposed to say? You can't say bunker. You can't say sand because then people are going to think bunker. Like, you got to remember, some people tune into this that aren't watching golf week after week, and they probably turn it on after work. And I don't know. I complain about a lot. I'm not complaining about sandy areas.
Yeah, I think we've been conditioned by the Masters for dumb vernacular for long enough.
That's true.
Cody, did you see anybody not raking their bunkers or the sandy areas today?
As a courtesy to the other guys.
Well, did you see anybody being,
No, everybody's cleaning up after themselves.
They are?
Everybody's out there leaving no trace.
Yeah.
I think that's dumb, man. Like, do you want to win or not? There's no way I'm raking after I'm done.
Yeah, I do apologize in the preview for saying there'd be no rakes out there, Randy, because there were way more than I thought. But there are some spots where they're not raking. And JT was in a bunker on 3 or 2 and left of the fairway. And he was like, are there no rakes here? Like, I'm in a footprint. And that seemed to be a surprise to him. But
I love it. I love it.
It would be a lot for a 156 person field with that much sand to just not rake it, because by the end of the day, like that is such a bad, I know everyone's got to go through it and got to play at the end of the day at some point, but that would mean it could potentially really bunch things come weekend where guys that are, last off are almost guaranteed to be in footprints if they hit it in the sand.
I feel like we should talk about the 18th hole.
Oh God.
Cody, take us there. What was the report on the ground on the everybody blown into the grandstands?
Yeah, Scotty Scheffler almost killed me, man. Bounced right over my head.
Cool. And for anybody who didn't get to watch, to set the table, basically they moved the tee up 30 yards on 18 because a lot of the pros were hitting some metals into the green. I guess they didn't like that, God. So. They moved the tee up, and now the grandstands are even more in play, which means it's a pretty obvious play that, to avoid those death bunkers on the right-hand side and the marsh and all the shit that's up the right, guys are just absolutely blowing it into the grandstands, taking a drop in some very nice matted down rough over there with great angle into the green. Cody, that pretty much sum it up?
No, that's completely true. I even went back and stood by 18T just to kind of overhear conversations and literal conversations of, oh yeah, just aim it up that left side and we'll be good to go. So they know what they're doing.
The quote of the day maybe from Keegan Bradley, who said, quote, I hope the fans over there have helmets on because there's going to be a lot more of this going on.
Was anybody giving a pre-4 call? Like, hey, 4, I'm aiming right at you.
No. You know how the 4 calls are out here anyway. They're just like 4. Can't hear them. Nobody hears them. 300 yards up there.
We need big shot Bob McIntyre getting in people's grills about that. I know that was a part of his due diligence.
Let me ask the group. What do you think of that? In all honesty, like that, it seems a little scummy, right? Like, what can be done about it? I tweeted like the TIO. It's ludicrous to give free relief for TIO.
It's going to be absolutely insane if somebody has a 2-shot lead on the 72nd hole of this tournament and they go and just say like, all right, aim it left. Like you can't get a penalty over there. Like you can't, you're going to get a free drop right that exactly where you're going to be dropping. And I'm almost going to guarantee we can make 5 from there. Like that's going to suck. Like, part of the challenge of that tee shot is there's trouble left and there's trouble right, and there's nothing good right to begin with. And pros are always looking for a safe place to hit a ball. They're looking for a bumper. They're looking for a mound. They're looking for anything that's going to bound a ball towards where they want it to go. And you give them an entire bumper up the whole left side of the hole on the final hole of the championship. Like, what is going on here? This is ridiculous. It's not safe for the fans that are there. It ruins the point of challenging the players. And I see some people on Twitter saying, well, everyone's got to play it. It's the same for everyone. It's like, all right, you follow that logic far enough. Like, you're playing putt-putt for this championship, right? Oh, yeah. Like, everyone's got to play it. Like, that's the championship. The idea here is to test people in a unique way. And I had a player walk off the course this morning and just say, by the way, 18th hole is cheating. Like, if you can play left, you can totally cheat it. You can totally cheat it. And it was just like, whoa, that's kind of jarring, because it doesn't stick out that much on TV, because they don't, unless you're watching a featured hole on the 18th hole, you're kind of relying on them to, pop in every now and then and show somebody taking the drop relief from it. But gosh, they did show enough balls that were just peppering those left stands and getting a free drop right in some really easy rough. It's not a guaranteed par from there. Like, I don't know if that's the best strategy on the hole, but you're better off going left than right. And that is something that I don't know what they can do now, though. They're in too deep. You can't change the rule. I don't think you can change the drop area, because you got to at least let the players get through the second wave. I don't know if they can change it for the weekend, but they might be stuck on it, and it's not a good look for the 72nd hole.
Amen.
Listen, hell yeah.
If they want to put up like some in-course OB on the weekend, God, I would be all for that.
I mean, so what do you want them to move the tee back to where it was earlier? Have these poor guys hitting 3-wood into 18?
Yeah, I mean, think about them, though. We don't want that.
Omar would hit driver.
Yeah, it'd be a 3-shotter for some of those guys.
We can't have them doing that.
I mean, those guys, if you put the number 5 on the hole, they would have no problem putting the tee back there, but you call it a par 4 and they can't fathom possibly hitting lumber into it, even though it has absolutely zero impact on the championship. You can make it a par 8 or a par 2. It will have the same exact effect on every single player in the field. So I don't know. I'm not saying necessarily the hole is just way better from back there, but just whatever was going on today was not adding up for me.
Yeah, I agree. I just don't know what you can do without like a rule change or something, right? I mean, without making that a penalty area, or making that no, this is so stupid and it turns pro golf into kind of a clown show. But like, oh yeah, I don't know. I mean, the tent is there. I guess you should hit it over it or around it, like that. Like, if you want my honest answer, that's what it would be. It's like, yeah, oh, I don't know, man. You shouldn't have hit it behind that big fucking building. Like, I don't know what to tell you. Like, the building didn't move. It was there when you hit your shot. Like, but I don't really see that happening. So I don't know what to say. It's tough. Like, if I was a player in the field, like I totally get why they're doing it. It just kind of blows.
This is on setup. This is not on the players. Players can do whatever the hell they want. It's all inbounds for them. It's all a setup thing. And I get it. You want a lot of people around the 72nd hole or the 18th hole of the tournament, but gosh, that just seemed a little bit excessive. But
maybe they should say, as a courtesy to everybody, you shouldn't hit it in the grandstands. Maybe that would get them to aim differently.
Worked wonders with the rakes.
Exactly. I can't believe guys are raking. That's a competitive advantage. I'm not raking. Now, maybe, karma comes back around, but that's a chance I'd be willing to take, just to sprinkle in a little chaos.
I love that.
A guy like you get roughed up in the locker room, Big.
Can we talk about my pick? How has no one brought this guy up yet?
Victor Hovland, the guy I insisted we talk more about on the preview because we hadn't given him his due yet.
He was my pick to win, so I know I covered him, but
unbelievable. What is he, number 6 in the world? I cannot believe you picked that guy. That's fucking awesome.
You looking for a Thursday night crowning or what?
Sleeping giant. No one saw this coming.
Shocked the world. Where were you when Solly made this pick?
Where were you when Victor Hovland shot 69 in round 1?
That was a brave pick.
How great was the sequence on 4? If you didn't get to see it, Victor Hovland hits his ball above, just to the right of a kind of pot-ish bunker, to the small little bunker that lined the fairway, kind of at right center part of the fairway on 4. And he's trying to figure out a stance, and they stuck with him. ESPN Plus stuck with him for the whole sequence, this whole back and forth with his caddy.
So good. They're
kind of making jokes about how many clubs he had out of his bag, different shots he was going to pull off. And he just turns to his caddy and he's like, how far is it over the crap? And it like didn't even register for me that a pro just said that, because that's exactly what like we would all say to each other if we're playing, and like that's what it feels like when you watch Hovland like have a conversation. You just feel like you're out with a buddy who is treating it like a normal round of golf on a weekend. And he goes through, like, the caddy talks about, you want to hit 9-iron here or do this? No, I can't get speed on it, blah, blah, blah. And he ends it with, I kind of want to try this, which, of course, is met with a, really? Like, really? We're in a major here. This is the time you want to try something. But it's a pretty good shot, left of the green, whatever, and gets up and down for par. But that whole sequence, then he goes in and rakes the bunker himself, which,
of course, as a courtesy to the other players.
The Sandy area, apologies. But that was a great sequence, and gosh, I hope he's around for a weekend. I think he's going to garner a lot of fans if he's around for 4 days.
I think that's extremely well said. I think he is a guy that super hardcore fans know how fun he is to watch, but he hasn't really had like a really big coming out moment, right? And especially leading into the Ryder Cup, especially leading into all this other stuff. I mean, he's going to be a Mondo superstar, I would think, and he just needs that moment. So yeah, maybe this week will be it. Nobody would be happier than me. That'd be great.
Nobody.
Right. Well, maybe Solly, but nobody else.
Ellis TJ3 said, who time traveled and told you guys to bet Keegan, and why were you acting mad about it on the preview pod? Complicated question.
A lot of ins, a lot of outs, a lot of ways we can go with this question.
I mean, Keegan's been playing great golf, and he played well here 9 years ago, which means a ton, of course. I mean, you saw Rory today. Of course.
Keegan just hits the shit out of it, man.
Yeah,
like
he's playing good golf.
He's playing really, really good, and he didn't even putt well today, which is kind of scary as well. That's kind of one of those like this might be for real.
Negative strokes gained putting today. He drove the shit out of it. He was number 3 in strokes gained off the tee and hit 12 out of 14 fairways. Number 1 in strokes gained tee to green, which includes chipping. But gosh, he did pretty much everything. That is, of all the models I'm seeing up on that top page, that's one of the more sustainable ones that I'm seeing. A little more, that may have some staying power. So just don't be surprised if Keegan sticks around a little longer than you. Maybe. Can
you predict where the storm is going to make landfall?
Too many variables right now. The Keegan storm is somewhere off the coast, and we're exploring a number of different options. But could
be up in the Northeast. Could be the people of Boston. I know you haven't seen a storm like this in quite a while, but possibly could be time to make sure you've got some canned goods, some water, things like that.
Not only other name, but a name we haven't talked about enough here so far is Colin Morikawa. T8 right now, missed 3 very makeable putts in those last 5 holes. Went to go look up his putting numbers. Somehow gained 1.2 strokes on the green today. He's the guy that like you could watch putt and be like, what the hell is going on? And then somehow the numbers tell a totally different story.
There's no way to talk about this without bringing up my 3 favorite words, the eye test. It just doesn't pass the eye test.
What does your gut tell you? What does your gut
Exactly. No, it's dude, the short putts are tough. But as I believe said after Colonial, I mean it makes for a hell of a compelling story when he gets down the stretch. There's weirdly like nothing better, more stressful, more exciting, nothing that like whips your eyes to the screen faster. We always talk about it with Phil. Than when a guy really gets in the hunt, a guy who is notorious for missing short putts. I mean, that makes for an exciting afternoon of watching golf. So I'm a huge Morikawa fan, and again, hope he plays well too. But that's going to be fun to watch.
Is this why we root for Spieth? Is that what it is?
Exactly. For sure.
Yeah.
But doesn't Morikawa and Pete Dye make so much sense? Like just
exactly.
This is a little longer than a Pete Dye course that we're used to, but just a demanding iron test is what I think of when it comes to Dye, and uncomfortable. Go ahead.
It's got to have whiffs of concession, right? At least a little bit.
A little bit, I'd say. I loved Morikawa for the Players, and he did not play well at the Players. Yeah. And honestly, hasn't played great since concession. But it is just an iron. I don't know what to say. What to call it? Like we're talking about with the fairways, right? You're not able to create a ton of great angles with your tee shots. So you're going to have just iron after iron after iron test that is a little uncomfortable. The lie might be a little different. The ball might be above or below your feet. You might want to draw one in, yet the green is going to promote a fade or something like that. And so for somebody that's a really, really good iron player and it's going to do that over 72 holes, like he probably should have been a little higher on our radar.
Well, and it's also a place where you can, as we've mentioned many times now, you can miss an ass spot. And if you're not a guy who misses a lot like that, you're going to miss in a lot fewer of those spots, right?
Amen. All right, what else is jumping out at you guys? What have we not talked about?
I had just some random things in my notebook here. Great note from the ESPN broadcast. Tringali was Boutros Tringali was playing well early. DQ'd twice at PGAs for signing an incorrect scorecard. That's just a wild stat. I hadn't heard that before. Shout out to the ESPN guys for that.
Is it like a Battlefield promotion or something?
If you sign it three times, you never get to play another PGA. Fool me once. The only thing I was going to say about the rough, I'm with you. The rough, it negates a lot of the angles. It did make the Hovland shot possible on number 4. Otherwise, that ball probably runs into the bunker, the way that the course was designed. But that little strip made that shot possible, so that was cool. On that note, I thought the bunker cam on 17 was sick. Was way in on that different angle. And I don't know if we want to go into any telecast stuff, but I thought CBS, ESPN product was fantastic today. Loved watching it.
I was way in on ESPN. Go ahead, Randy. Sorry, I've talked way too much.
Well, no. It's okay. Just to follow up DJ's point, and then we can get into the telecast. I think, Bryson, looking at his stats, I think he's lurking. Or I always get confused. Lurking or lingering? What's the
lingering or
like,
loitering? Lingering or loitering are two different things.
Loitering. He's got bad intentions, I think.
Yes, exactly.
Obviously, I said Mickelson, the back 932. I think the field average on the back 9 was like almost 38. So just to put that in perspective, was very cool. And then guys, no, I can't believe we haven't even mentioned this guy
It's
yet.
in my notebook. Of course, it's in my notebook.
Inside the top 20, Mr.
Is it
Rickie,
his week?
Is it his week? Best putter on the planet. Can he win a major? I mean, come on. What a story.
What do you think?
Hell no.
What are we gonna say? Hell no. I saw the stories about Michael Jordan. He's been hanging with Michael Jordan. He's the Michael Jordan slump buster. That didn't come out right. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, come on, Randy. I think you even said it before we came on. There's arguably there's very few things that if we didn't say, somebody just said, who the hell are they talking about? We're talking about Rickie Fowler, of course. Very few things that would make this weekend more fun than Rickie being in the mix after getting the special invitation that apparently a lot of guys get. I'm all in on that.
Of course. It's like you mentioned, Phil or Colin, or even watching Spieth play, like, Rickie being in the hunt on Sunday when he's not going to win, but it's still fun to get everybody riled up. That's about as good as it gets.
There's nothing fun about Rickie playing poorly. Like he's not interesting enough that it's crazy. Oh my God, it's crazy that Rickie's not playing great. It's like no, there's no story there. Like it's just boring. Like we need him to be around, maybe just for Randy's bits. I don't know exactly what we need, but we need that guy around, and I'm excited. Again, not the most sustainable model. He can't really get off the tee right now, or he's 119th in strokes gain off the tee, but played well with the irons today, 11th strokes gain approach. Putted it good, so we'll see. Who could say? Big Tone.
One last guy, real quick, that's jumping out. Brandon Grace, and I know
how the hell was he under par there at around
horrible.
like 6-7 o'clock? He was. I mean, the wheels had completely fallen off.
I completely agree. I mean, I don't know
to watch though.
I don't know where this golf came from, and I don't know when it decided to implode this afternoon. But I mean, kind of hanging around. We'll see. The other thing is that I thought the Autoflex shaft was illegal. I guess it's not. He actually has it in play in his driver this week. You guys know what the Autoflex shaft is?
I do, but for the listeners that might not.
This is patented Korean technology. So if you look at the shaft,
is it the Chinese finger trap?
Oh yeah, it's
oh my God, this is wild.
The whippiest shaft you've ever seen. It comes in like stiff 1X and 2X. And I swung it a couple weeks ago, and I was like, what in the world is this? I thought it was the Orange Whip training aid. That's how whippy it is. And Brandon Grace has it in play and is just absolutely killing the ball.
What does it do? What are the benefits of it?
Again, for the people who don't know.
Exactly. I mean, I know. I read about it, but
so tempo, it makes you slow down. It gets you to very Hideki-like at the top. So you almost have to like pause because it automatically makes you start casting if your transition is way too quick. So as long as you set it at the top and come through, I mean, the guys that I know that, including one recovering PGA Tour player right now, said he added 30 yards to his drive just by going to the Autoflex.
So yeah, it's like the way it was explained to me was like the technology behind like a Chinese finger trap, right? Where you can like get stuck with. I don't know how that translates directly to shaft, but just think of it along those lines where it really stiffens at impact, right? And it's giving you a kick at the bottom, but it's not like it doesn't like play or feel stiff. God, this is a risky sentence until impact or like right at the bottom of your swing. And it's kind of weird to swing. I've hit one with Andrew Algood, one of our young hitters, has one, and he's been messing around with it. And it is freaky. It doesn't feel right, and it's like a bold play to put one in. And I did not realize he had one, but it could be a trend on tour if it remains legal. But it is just a full send. Like he is blowing it by 30 by me, and we used to be somewhat in the same realm. And it like I did not know it was in play. I think Adam Scott, I don't know if he has one in play, but I know he was one of the ringleaders with this shaft, I think. But gosh, that's gonna be interesting to follow.
The weird thing about it is that it only comes in 2 colors as well. So it comes in rainbow and then bright pink.
Yeah.
So big for you. I just want to let you know I do have one on order, and I'm going to put it in the bag. So as soon as we get together in a couple weeks, I'll gladly let you hit it.
Is there an extra long one?
Of course. Extra long for the extra stiff shaft just for big.
That's good, man. Shout out to these guys being better athletes these days. I love hearing
that's
this.
what I was saying. Would this be a way to just like not have to do anything but add a ton of distance?
Yeah, because some of us are listening on that.
Because I'm in that market. If anybody wants to,
I mean, I'm pretty sure I saw Terrell, messing around with them this weekend, Happy Gilmoring on the range. So we got that going for him.
We haven't talked much Bryson. Am I wrong in saying Bryson, like last couple months, has gotten a little bit boring? Like, hasn't really given us any flash of play. Hasn't really said anything absolutely ridiculous other than seeing UFOs. That's pretty
UFOs thing was sick,
but that's pretty normal. Like that, we can expect that.
He accidentally flew home.
That's
true.
That's true. But I didn't feel anything when he shot even today. It just felt like I don't know if this is not a great golf course for him. It doesn't appear to be. He pounded it off the tee, but couldn't really make any putts today. But yeah, it was just kind of a boring even par round. I need something to make fun of you for, or to compliment, or to praise, or to rip you on, and he's not giving us the content right now.
Shout out to Max Meltzer in the comments. The square root division sign shirt was dumb. We can rip on that if you want to talk about that.
We can do a lot of fashion stuff.
But yeah, I'm kind of with you. I didn't really feel too much.
I think we might be hearing from him by the end of the week. I think I don't know.
You're on notice.
He hit the ball really well. Yeah.
Cody, how big was he in person? 1 to 10.
I thought he was tiny. I mean, what's the big deal about this? No, I mean he's a unit, man. I walked by, I was like, I see what the people were talking about. Yeah, it was impressive. I don't like to accuse anybody or anything, but I also know that we're coming up to Olympic season, and
sounds like somebody's about to get accused pretty hard.
So maybe we're lacking something these days, but I don't know.
That reminds me of one of my favorite memes, which is, so it's not insider trading. Somebody that's about to describe insider trading.
Exactly. We don't have to go on Bryson too long. I will never forget getting a text from a swing coach first week back when they saw Bryson for the first time, and they said I was, quote, aghast at how big Bryson had gotten. That word is, it's just so good. Always makes me laugh.
It's truly the get a load of or have a look at the size of this lad.
Absolutely in awe of the size of this lad.
Yeah.
But Neil was on this from the get-go, right? When he was talking about all this weight gain that was happening like a little over a year ago, that it's like not going to be sustainable. And Bryson actually talked about that a little bit this week in terms of, when I was in quarantine, all I did was like get stronger, just put on weight, blah, blah. And I gained a ton of speed. He's like, I'm still getting stronger, but it's not translating to speed. And I don't know why. And like maintaining that level of fitness and protein and calorie and all that while maintaining a professional golf schedule week to week doesn't appear to be like, he's not it's not progressing. Like he's almost regressing a little bit when in terms of distance. Like it's not getting worse and worse and like or better and better and better. It's still obviously incredible, but it's not like the separation that we saw last summer where he was hitting it 40 past some guys, right? I mean, he's still the longest, but it's not like he's separating himself more and more.
Yeah,
I think those courses that when we came out of quarantine too set up perfectly for him.
Yeah.
I mean, he's kind of exposed now playing in the wind. You didn't see it last year with a June event down at Hilton Head. I think that adds a lot to it.
But we were screenshotting stuff that was like, dude, this is ridiculous, right? And Rory was walking off golf courses after playing with him being like, I turned to Harry and said, holy shit, man, this is unbelievable. And it's just starting to regress a little bit. And it's still like an incredible asset, and it's a great skill, and it's going to give him an advantage, just to at the start of every tournament. But it's not like blowing me away as much as it was at the time.
He was 6th in driving distance today. So not heads and shoulders, first like he usually is.
Right.
A couple other random things I had firing up the notebook. I don't know when, like, Stu Cink, chill. I don't know when.
Chill, dog.
Just chill. I don't know when this is going to stop, but it's starting to get concerning. Just
nah.
chill.
Nah, man.
Nah. Stu Cink, nah, dog. Just nah.
I bet Keimer to win the Players in 2014, and when he won, like I rooted for him like 6 years after that, and like I had Stu Cink to win Heritage. Like he's good for like 5 years in my book. Like I keep rooting for him, even though I got no money on him. I'm like, keep going, bro, keep going.
seems like an absolute great guy. Just just nah.
Can we talk about Spieth bailing on the shirt that was scripted for him?
Alphaing Under Armour.
Which, he had such
totally
a bad,
backed down the whole city of Baltimore.
It was the story of maybe the whole nation on Wednesday when he showed up wearing a shirt.
At least
with
Baltimore.
A huge X on his back. Many people saying it was a tribute to DMX, but and it was scripted for him to wear on Thursday, and he didn't come out, and apparently he had vetoed it before the week had started. But I had people from the tour in my mentions saying like, yeah, that shirt's like not legal. Like logos have to be 3 by 5 inches and all this stuff. But gosh, it just seems like, Nike has the crown for like, hey, it's major week. Let's do some bad shit. And Under Armour,
it's fun to do bad things.
Yes, Under Armour is just a true hold my beer situation with that shirt, because that was an atrocity.
It's not good. It's not good. I had a couple other shout outs. Rich Beam shot 2 over and just looks like he's having a fucking blast out there. And like, I think that's exactly what you want out of your one-time, major champions, guys who had nice career. He seems like he rode off into the sunset totally happily. It seems like he has a blast doing Sky Sports stuff. He's basically a full-time broadcaster, came out, held his own today. He's chipping in, he's making long putts. It looks like he's just having a ball. So that's love. That's things you love to see. That was awesome.
He missed a shorty on the last to shoot 1 over, and he bogeyed the downwind par 3 8th too. He bogeyed his last 2 to shoot 2 over. He had a hell of a round going. Is he do they do a Monday after the PGA, like media lottery or anything for that?
I don't know. You'd absolutely run a train on people out there, though.
Will he be in? There's a visual for you.
I didn't realize, just someone in the comments mentioning he was commenting on Sky before his round also, which is epic.
Legend.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, that's awesome. I love that. A couple other notes. We've been referring to Cam Smith as the mangy dog. Many people very upset. Multiple separate sources upset that we didn't call him the dingo. I think that is a total no-brainer. I would sign off on that. Rubber stamp that today. If you guys are down with that, I think Cam Smith as the dingo, I think, makes a lot of sense.
I had to research what a dingo was, and now I know it's kind of like a coyote, or it is
kind of like a coyote, indeed. And the last thing I think I had was the John Catlin slow play penalty. We got to chat about that. I mean, first guy penalized at a major since His Eminence, Guan Tian Lang, and that was just very interesting to see.
Yeah, it's weird how it always ends up being non-PGA Tour members that get slapped with the slow play penalties. But It's amazing how fast the PGA Tour players are. They've never gotten penalized in how many years. Like they just are a model for fast-paced play. And
I just thought I hated to see. I know we've had years and years of peace with no slow play at any majors, and I hated seeing this whisper of one instance pop back up. Man, I hate seeing that. I hope it's not a sign of things to come.
But
can I shout out just a couple people?
Sure.
Ben Cook, low club pro guy today. Shot an even par, 72. Super
unbelievable.
impressive.
Big. Yeah. I got a story for you. Ben Cook is a huge NLU supporter. So
come on.
Yeah, he's always, I'm usually got the handles on the Instagram account. He's all over it all the time, likes everything, comments. This is his third PGA in a row that he's qualified for, a full-time teaching professional up in Michigan. So really, really good for him. I mean, hopefully.
I love him even more now. I want to give a bigger shout out.
A true PGA professional.
Yeah.
Look how many look at the names of the dudes he beat today. Like
seriously.
Like I'm looking at the leaderboard. He's hanging right with Cam Smith, the dingo, the schlong, and Harry Higgs and Scotty Scheffler. What a group.
Gained strokes in every category except he barely lost in putting. He kept up with the best ball strikers in the world today.
Unreal.
That's cool. That is cool about the PGA Championships that they have these club pros that go up and we have these stories every year of somebody that does tremendous. So I hope that lasted to tomorrow.
Might need to get him on the show this weekend. Get him talking about playing the course.
This weekend he's gonna make the cut.
Well, I know. I mean, after he plays, after he plays.
See if he wants to do a Rich Beam thing.
Exactly. Might not pay as well, but we can ask him.
Coverage front, ESPN Plus, like I mentioned earlier, was just awesome this morning. I couldn't figure out a time to go pee. I did my morning shower at 2:00 this afternoon because I didn't have time to get up. Like they were just absolutely vibing. They had all these feature group channels. It lost steam for me once it went to TV. I don't know if that's just because I can't watch golf for 12 hours straight. I don't know if you guys felt differently, but I don't know. ESPN just like fresh voices just makes it feel like a major championship and a big deal. And they are covering a big sporting event and not making it about themselves, and that's appreciated in the golf world.
Two things there.
Here.
Yeah, I fully agree. I love the variety. They had tons of feature groups. I love that feature on ESPN Plus. And what else was I going to? Oh, I took a big nap this afternoon. That was it was too much golf. Like a 40-minute nap. It was really nice.
That's what we were talking about a little bit before we came on. I think for me personally, it's like the fact that this happens at every major, where every Thursday afternoon, I get so excited in the morning, have such a good time watching, and then you hit that leaders are on 10, 12, whatever, and you're just like very sleepy. And I think it's got to be just a byproduct of watching too much golf throughout the day. And nothing can be exciting for that long.
Yeah, and you're always struck by like what happens in the golf, right? Like this morning off the bat, we have Rory in the shit, we have Brooks in the shit, we have Adam Scott in the shit, and like all this stuff going on. And this afternoon just did not have much going on, and so that's not their fault. But
you need a player to make a crazy run, or you need the weather to change, or you need something. I don't think there's anything they can really do.
That's not their fault. I'm not saying that, but also it's just kind of like hey, you kept asking for all this coverage, but like we didn't think you'd actually do it. Like we don't want to watch golf 12 hours a day. Come on, don't like make us sit and do it. No, it's
nice to be able to pop in and out. I loved it. Shout out to all the people working hard making that happen.
Yeah,
because that is a long day.
I'm gonna reach.
Go ahead.
My 40-hour work week just by watching the telecast this week.
No doubt.
Not even counting anything else.
Sorry, my notebook's very, very thick today. On the telecast front, I thought the wind calibrator was cool. I loved seeing the it's playing 218, but really it's playing 242. Like that, hell yeah. Anything that makes me smarter about the golf shot I'm about to watch, way in. Love it.
And the flyovers they did of the graphics of the hole that have the wind like going, with little motion arrows going across the screen, like that, like makes you feel it, right? Like, and some of these holes kind of change directions a little bit. And I know they did one with the second hole, illustrating that par 5 that bends to the left and then goes back to the right, showing the wind over top of it and the contours of the green all at once. It was like dude, if you didn't play that hole, like you just like saw it right there. Like you just experienced if you're like Randy that also doesn't remember playing the hole, like you got to relive. Now you know what that hole looks like. So I don't know. That kind of stuff is what you're afforded when you don't do a lot of commercial breaks, and they don't do a lot on ESPN Plus.
I have a very serious question for you guys. I hope this is okay to bring up on this show. I do need an answer from all of you. Thumbs up, thumbs down. The Stephen A. Smith wind essay. I was mega thumbs up. I wish I had more hands.
I wish, yeah. Give me 4 hands.
I was already not vibing at that point, and that was just kind of like, really? I mean, that's certainly one way you could go with this.
It was a complete 12-6 curveball. I needed it at that part of the broadcast.
Yeah.
My knees buckled when that one came in.
I was so far out in front of it. Yeah, exactly. Totally tied me up.
This is the perks of not watching a single bit of the coverage today. I have no clue what you guys are talking about, but I'll find out.
Cody, I will say, just like hearing your reports and from people on the ground, it makes me. There's a reason we don't go to a lot of majors, so we can do these shows and take everything in. But gosh, I kind of want to go to some of these. It made me kind of want to get some boots on the ground. So.
Yeah, we might need a designated survivor out there at each one of these things. We can't all be posted up here in Jax.
Yeah. So
exactly. I'm glad I sacrificed myself for it. Randy, expect some aloe vera on my expense account because man, it got a little warm and I'm a little red. So
we were saying before we came on, I think it's the sand. It's so white out there. Like it's like holding one of those big reflective sun tan things.
Sand in your ass. Exactly, right?
Well, yeah, well said. 2 things, and then the notebook's totally empty. Padraig Harrington, 1 under. That was amazing. Like from the kind of a Stu Sink. Like I'm sure many people are like, yo, I'm good. I don't need to watch this, but totally out of the blue. I loved watching that. That was really fun. And then the last thing I had, something we discussed earlier this week on Slack, I think was, or earlier today on Slack, Dustin Johnson wearing the blade collar. I kind of think my defenses to the blade collar have been worn down and they're no longer offensive to me whatsoever. They used to be very offensive. Now I think I don't care. I'm apathetic / maybe even a little bit in. So
here's the risk of that. The blade collar was the Brooks hat of like 2015 or something like that, right? So are we going to, in 2025, are we going to be like, Brooks was right all along with that hat? Like he nailed it. He nailed it. So you got to stand firm on these. You got to be stubborn.
Never change your mind on anything.
Yeah, no. That's a sign of weakness. If you ever change your mind, never change an opinion, even if you're dead wrong. So I'm wrapped.
Hey, can we get you in a blade collar?
I'd have to look. I don't mind the blade collars, but I was just thinking it looks better on a certain body type.
Well, that was going to be my thing.
Dustin,
I think Dustin can wear anything.
Yeah.
So
it did look good on.
I would certainly try one. A little birdie say maybe there might be some NLU ones here soon, but
really,
I don't know. We're not quite ready for you. Stay tuned.
we'll keep you posted. God, I want that to be the takeaway from this, Solly. Just never change your mind, never apologize, as someone said in the comments.
Dig in.
Double down.
Dig in.
Good stuff, guys. Should we wrap it there?
Let's wrap it.
That was fun.
It's pizza time for me. Thanks everyone for tuning in, and we will see you back here, same place, same time ish, the rest of the week. Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers.